I have water.
Water? You got whiskey. You're good. Oh, right now you've got water.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, it's a clear whiskey, and I got a full glass.
You have a full glass of vodka, that's all it is. It'll be completely smashed.
Yes. I love me just big old glasses of vodka. Vodka's the best tasting alcohol.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of your potato alcohol.
Not all of them are potato.
Vodkas? Isn't it?
I think I have a potato vodka, but they're not all potato
I
based.
thought they were all potato based. I thought that's what made vodka.
No, I don't think so.
Potato.
Because I've seen some that are called potato vodka, and then other ones that aren't.
I can't say I know for certain, so I don't drink a lot of vodka.
Ponies.
Yes, ponies. They're cute. They should be booping each other like that one. Look, it wants to boop. No, I'll go whoop that phone. That's punching. This is assault now. It's like a windmill.
It's a roundhouse.
Looks like she's having like an existential crisis or something. It's like, how do we hold things when we don't have hands? How does this work? It's getting big. She's just on an acid trip now. Oh, she's been working out. Just that one arm though. I'm having flashbacks to the movie Idiocracy right now. Horse smash.
There it is. There's. Oh.
Lift.
Bro.
Arm wrestling champion. Or leg wrestling champion. Yee.
Ultimate Bob.
That would be a
Bob.
death by boop.
Let's undo that. Okay, she's normal again.
She skipped one day of workout, and that's what happens.
Okay, so what I needed to start doing on here was filling out the required bits here, because right now I don't have anybody that's supposed to be there.
And always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia.
I'm gonna grab them from actually here. Can I just copy all of them? Oh yeah, because they're not in here, so that does work. Or not. Oh, I copied the wrong part. I moved on.
You just gotta copy paste them into the other scene. I was saying you're just gonna copy paste them into the other scene.
Yeah, but I have to copy from this shot because they're in a different position in that one. So So I have to make sure I grab the same ones. So put that one, and then where's it says that I have. Oh, I'm selecting the other shot. I just pasted them back in the same shot. That's not what I want. Okay. Yeah. Where are the guards in here? They're at the end. I'm going to put this in the same order so I'm not confused. So it's Luna, Cadence, Shining. Shiver, Twilight, okay. And I need them in the same position they were in at the end of this. Yeah, but I haven't finished what I actually wanted them to do there, so I have to... Can't animate them or do much more with them than... than this, so I'm just gonna... Yeah, that does work. Perfect. Now, what else am I missing here? I'm missing...
armor's torn off.
I need that base that they're standing on. Okay. Where's the podium in this one? Oh, it's in stage. Okay. Oh, Shining's like magic moving.
He's excited. Where he's got a pee.
Well, which is the official? I think it's this one is where I want them. Maybe not. Oh, that's correct. Oh. Maybe I might have a little bit of a problem here. Her legs are a little shifted. Did I do that now? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the actual root that's off. No, it wasn't, because this wasn't locked until before.
She looks like she's leaning away from Shining, like you smell. Dirty horse.
There we go. She is fixed. Anybody else busted?
They fix her after Flurry Hard. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I can't see their feet, so it's fine, they're floating. And I got all that stuff that's on the desk, too. It's not under desks, so... Flags will go... Stage, desk objects. Why is it under stage? Okay. So all the discs are full. Graph stuff moved a little bit, but that's fine. I don't mind having moved a little bit.
Doesn't make sense. They shift a little bit.
but from the previous shots, they never actually moved. But I don't care too much because they're probably going to be in a different position. But if somebody were to jump back and forth, I don't want to have them be like way different. Not like it'd probably matter. No, I think this thing's like right in the guy's face. Like,
You have like one of the guards.
this is what he's just looking at. Your job is to lick this pole. Okay. Everybody should move
Just
then.
have one of the guards disappear so that people watching this could be like, have conspiracy theories about the guard. Like, that guard was a changeling. And he ran to tell the others.
I already did it with the star.
Yeah.
Where there's the extra star
The
up
star
here.
was a changeling.
And then when you go to here, it's gone.
That star was a changeling all along. Do it.
Have it disappear, but have it in like 1 or 2 frames at the beginning of it. There's like a green flash. Very spoopy.
Yeah, I have some swoopy stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know what narrative that would affect. So, no. I'm not writing the story.
Knee slaps all day.
The Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Kentrela.
Relax.
Pretty sure that I don't know if I have enough to loop. Maybe. This doesn't look like it would loop though. That's better. I have her. She already has some idols, so. Oh, it's just her head. That's fine.
So the changeling invasion that destroyed.
Let's keep it like that. And then just round it.
Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Kentrela. Would you like to know more?
I'm probably just gonna have her stare at the floor. Don't know what else to have her do. That's not gonna take a ton of time.
Source of the changeling
Her staring at the floor kind of makes sense. She just had like a moment.
Well, plus if everybody else is like applauding, I don't think that much attention is going to be put on her. Celestia, I need to have like keep looking that way for a little bit and then turn her head at least once, and then that's it. I don't need to have her do any more.
Are you gonna have Twilight applaud, or is she also gonna be kind of?
That I'm not sure of, because it's.
Like I could definitely see Spitfire applauding.
I don't know. Actually, I see her applauding less. I see Shining Armor potentially.
Well, both of them are just going to do it out of a sense of duty to their country because they're both military. So, but I can see both Twilight and Cadence having motivations. More Twilight.
I don't know what happened to her main when I copied her though.
It got awesome. She had to cut her own hair in the pandemic, and it didn't work out. I'm like hoping after all this is said and done, everybody just has awesome 80s rocker hair.
I'm thinking I can just do this. There it is.
Yay.
Oh, like only her hair was broken on that.
I think that's kind of one thing I liked about
His tail's a little busted.
this show's finale is Rainbow's hair. Mimicked Spitfires. Kind of showed her admiration.
Also, it's cool.
It is cool. But I just kind of like the idea, because I guess it's implied that Spitfire's no longer the captain of the Wonderbolts at that point. Rainbow is. But, she changed her hairstyle to reflect the former captains.
Is it? No, I think it's just sideways. Okay, that'll work. And I can have them applauding. I don't know about Twilight though.
Maybe that's something you could ask about ahead of time.
Yeah, I might need to know more on.
What are their individual reactions? You should probably just ask for all of them.
Well, this one's done. Celestia will be. Which could. I don't know if I have that exported.
Just out of nowhere, just start slamming your head against the desk. Like, no, no. I mean, yeah, that is kind of something that plays out throughout the show. Is that ponies, at least in the early episodes, kind of don't want anything to do with other races. They even imply that there is a lot of division between them, just based on Unicorn, Pegasus, and Earthbone. In the early days.
Yeah, I swear I exported it at some point. For something else. I still don't know what I would have called it. I thought normally I put the character's name in the beginning because I want to I want to know who it is that it was originally based from, because that might have an effect on how I paste it onto it. No, I swear I did, but maybe I just didn't keep it. Oh, actually, maybe I do have it. I do.
For a counter-offensive against the Hive, source of the Changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot.
Okay, yeah, I do have it.
Source of against the Hive, source of the Changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more? Would you like to know more? To know more.
There we go. Michael. We did it.
What did you do?
This is plans for a country
We made it Twilight.
source of the changing invasion that
No! She does not seem pleased.
She's fine. I thought I had the loop right, but apparently I got one a little faster.
I mean, imagine if she's just trying to, like, dig a hole. She's like a woodpecker. She's looking for insects.
Can't swear on the stream. No swearing.
Woodpecker?
He said pecker.
Oh no.
invasion that destroyed Tetra.
There goes all your E5 ratings. Keep on finding insects. Look at that face. That's a serious face. Hey look, it's Starlight. Oh wait. What's happening there?
She's getting in the knock over milk position.
Let's see.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Not having any of this garbage. Just be trying to make friends with the changelings.
Hello, classic. Thank you very much.
You either make friends or you turn them into stone. That's the two options in a question. Or you murder them. That's the other one.
You're talking about me?
No, I'm talking about the show in general. You either make friends with them or you murder them. That's the options given to you in the question.
Mandatory friendship. You do not have at least 12 friends. You're arrested.
You're arrested.
And put on trial.
And then made a lawn ornament in Celestia's garden as a punishment.
Her garden of friendship.
Yes, just terrified faces.
Okay, well, I don't need Twilight doing that now, so... well, let me see here. I was working on last time this part. Is this done?
I just love the idea of just Celestia being like, what's that terrified stallion statue about? He's like, see, that's dedicated to an old friend of mine who unfriended me on Facebook one day, so I took a preemptive measure. Pretty sure that's the road to evil.
I'm gonna see what happens if, with this loop, I'm gonna put a little bit more hippity hop.
Oh, that's not the end.
So I'm going to... I'm fine with the way it is right now. So this is going backwards. Okay, so this is looped correctly. 4 seconds, 2 seconds each, right? So hoof lift.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm going to... This actually might be tough. Okay, so it'd be like here. I'm gonna try doing a little hippity hop. I just don't think it's going to work.
but hippie hops.
Well, I could probably make it work. It would just look really sloppy in any type of detail. So I'm going to do this rough. So I'm just going to lift her from here. No, that wouldn't be timed right. That would be timed better. This is crossing more than a second. Okay, that's right. And then this is sped up to like 3 times speed. So if I'm doing that, that's gonna make the hop last a third of a second. Yeah, I have to do the full second.
Pretty sure when ponies are applauding, they have their tongues sticking out at the same time.
And where did you get this information?
The internet.
You do remember that most requests you put in, I make horrifying.
Maybe this one time, you could just make it adorable instead, and just have her all like happy, and her tongue sticking out, and her eyes closed, and just come.
Darn, she doesn't have.
It would be adorable.
This one doesn't have the tongue scaling or the tongue bone. I was gonna scale it to just some stupid amount because it would be sticking out.
No.
Okay, so my thought is to do this the kind of cheat way of having where I just pull her up.
See, Classic's all about it.
And see if that works.
I mean, I know Classic. He doesn't even have all these. They've come to a fancy event, and these ponies aren't even into their dress socks. It's crazy, right? Their dress socks. I like that idea.
Okay, so that works. And then we'll go to here. That wasn't crossing over, right? Yeah, so I can do one more. Or 2 more, actually. So... And if I don't keep this locked, and I just grab what I changed... It would have been from here to here. That timing's not right. Okay, I need to verify. Okay, from here to here. So I copy this without the locks. Copy it. And then go there and there. Yep, that actually, what? Oh, why are you slightly different? I grabbed everything. Oh, I didn't, It should be identical. But if it's just that far leg... that's left. That's fine. Take left leg. Round. Okay. Something was not copied across here. Oh, no, something was not copied here. The blink wasn't copied. Oh, because I added it just in the middle here and then I just copied it. That's why. Okay. There's nothing else I was missing, is there? Okay. Sorry.
He's got the corona.
No, so I'm doing a little short bit for Prince Whatever for a video, and so it's a bit from Starship Troopers, and So it's a ponified version of the one council speech. And it'll look like this with the lighting on. I can't keep the light on because I run really, really slow with the camera because of the amount of characters on the screen. These all will be full at the end, but this scene runs fine. So it's just her talking.
Meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed with our very lives, to ensure that pony civilization, not changeling, rules Equestria now and always.
Her Highness Princess.
So I'm working on, or what I have left to do is I have to fill this whole audience. I have to do potentially some touch up here, but I think everything is mostly done. Oh no, I have to do their reaction here at the end for the background people. And I have to then finish up with everybody here. The audience is the technically hard part, and because of how many there are, and the engine can't handle it, so there's some editing thing I'm going to make it work with. But it was getting them all to look like an audience. That was the hard part.
I mean,
Manhattan, the Equestrian Council
there's
convenes.
a lot of hard work in this. He's put almost 3 hours into it so far.
I put at least 1 hour into it.
A whole 20 minutes. And yet not a single boop.
No, I did. The big oof.
Big oof.
The big oof boop.
That was a big oof. That was a punch.
It was a hoop. So I love problem solving. That's like one of my favorite things to do. That's actually part of my job. Daytime. So with this, it was how do I work with a engine that does not support putting or having this much stuff loaded, because down here it's just how much memory is in there, and SFM is a 32-bit program, which means that when this hits about 3300 or anything more than that, it's going to crash very soon because it just can't hold anything more in memory. So the more stuff I load in, the higher that number gets, or the more unique stuff. So it was about how do I get around some of that. And so like some of the methods I used to get around it were I only loaded 4 females and 3 males. So there's only 7 unique models loaded. So all this model is now, I get 3 out of it. 3 models out of a single model usage. Each of these is also this is not my base, that's why. Each of these is actually textured pure white, and I'm using a override within the software to just change the hue of it. And since it's white, any of the hue changes I do are just that color. So the colors then are, or all of them are using the same texture. That saves, for at least in this group, 21 different textures being loaded. And so in terms of memory usage, I am getting 21 unique ponies, but only 7 models and 1 texture's worth of memory being used for that. The eyes are different for each, or at least for each of the different versions here. I could have done them all the same, but then that would have been too much. So, and I can't do overrides for that. That's why also all the females have fish and all the males have cheese. So, no, there won't be a derpy.
No, there should be a
Don't
derby.
help him.
Thank you, sir. Join me in getting him to add derpies. I didn't even have to ask. This is amazing. Join me in helping me get him to put derpies in all of his videos. Because that is my ultimate goal for being here. Right here. It's the only reason I'm here is to encourage more derpies.
So, I have to keep, or for every unique model I load, that eats that much more in memory. So
you can spare the memory for derpy.
So, by loading 1 other different model, I am eating up as much memory as probably a whole nother group of this.
He's already got the derpy model.
Or at least a couple models. So for everyone I put in, I can't put in less people, because what I have to do is I will eventually hit cap on memory no matter what with this, because the amount of motion is still because how animation works. is if you look at this pony, these are all these white lines. There's no such thing as a curve in animation. It can't calculate how to make a perfect curve. The software just calculates a curve and then interprets where to put dots at each of the little save spots to make it look like a curve. It's the same reason that there's no perfect sphere in games. It's just a very complicated D20 with this as many spot sizes you can put on there to get as close to a sphere as you can. So if you actually turn on the sample points, this is where you can actually see. So each one of these little circles, it's actually saving the X, Y, and Z coordinates. And every time it goes to one of those circles, it will move the model to where that X, Y, and Z is. So you can just see here how many it has to save. But between these dots, you can see it's just a straight line. So the more models I have, I will start increasing memory usage just because all the motion is going to add up in the save file as well. So by having one unique model, I'm getting rid of a good amount of space for stuff. So what I need to do is fill up a couple rows of this, render it, then move everybody to other chairs, render again, and then in post mask out the empty chairs overlaid with the ones that are full. So I want to fill as many chairs as possible, and right now I'm already getting difficult in terms of stuff, so I have to be careful. If I can fill up half of this section, then I can do the other half in one render, so it'll be two, and then another third one for this. Thankfully, I don't have to do... The work will be easy. All I have to do, because now I have a good amount of unique seats, so I think I'm going to go with one more group, is I can just grab one of these groups of 4 and just shift them to a group of 4 behind them. And then it's fine. To simplify the animating for this group, because I didn't want to go one by one and animate all of them, my solution to that was I created little pre-made animation segments. So if I go over to this shot, and we'll get rid of you, I have a default just sitting pose, and they're all in 3-second segments. So there's a 3-second segment of that pony just sitting there, not doing anything. But then I also have one of pony looks to the right. Oops. I'll say picked in. Pony looks to the right, pony looks to the left, pony yawns. Well, that one kind of shifts, but whatever. Pony shakes the head. That does not seem right to have that kind of motion there. Whatever. Yeah, hood looks at hoof, talks to right, idle to right, idle to left, talk to left. And then what I can do is, in here, since this is 4 seconds, a little over 4 seconds long, each of these ponies has has 3 different sets of animation that all defaulted to idle. But every now and then I just grabbed a copy of one of those segments and just started pasting it randomly around in one of those 3 segments. And I did that for everybody. And then I went and shifted everybody's time a little bit so they weren't all breathing at the same time. So I would grab this guy and I would shift it a little bit this way, and I grab the next guy, shift it that way, and then shift it to this way. And I would do that for everybody. So then everybody's at different times, everybody had different motion, and I could easily and quickly fill an entire audience with what looked like a bunch of unique things going on.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council could...
So... And it actually worked really well. Once I had everything set up, I can fill a row of these in like an hour, which is super, super cool. So it was a lot of planning ahead, but it worked gloriously. Because this was my worry of how the hell am I going to fill a crowd. And from the back here, really you can't, you can tell this guy and this guy are the same. But that's really the only ones that I can spot immediately as being identical. That one and that one are the same, but it's hidden behind some stuff so you can't even notice.
I don't think people are really going to notice unless they really look.
No, they would have to really look.
I'm glad to see the calls for more derbies, though, is rising.
No. There'll be no derbies.
Why not?
Well...
Spare the ram.
I could color somebody to be Derpy's color, but it wouldn't have her cutie mark.
You can add a cutie mark.
No, because then I would have to replace the texture, and if I replace the texture,
they could all have Derpy's.
No, because it's an iconic cutie mark. The fish are at least not a main character.
They could all be Derpy.
But yeah,
entire audience full of Derpy.
How long has it taken me? I technically started it
3 hours ago.
late fall last year, but then I didn't touch it for a couple months. I've only started getting back into working on it,
You've been
and
working on this since late fall?
yeah, but I didn't work on it for a couple months. I started it up where I did all the lip sync for it, like all the lip sync for Celestia, and I did that over a couple days. And then I did some of her keyframing, but then I just stopped working on it like not long after November, and then I didn't pick it up again until probably mid-February. It actually.
You can see why you start doing it during streams. They're probably asking for it.
Well, that's because he was wondering where the status was on it, and I'm like, I haven't actually really touched it much. Can I work on it during streams? Because that's when I do most of my work. He goes, yeah, sure. I'm like, well, then I'll have it done a lot quicker.
I'm imagining this one's safe.
Well, there's no deadlines.
No, of course not. They don't want pressure on one, but it's still. I'm sure you would like to read.
There's other stuff that needs to be done too, so it's not like this is the. If it's the only thing being left, that'd be different. When was? No, so it was since February 25th was the day I started working on it again, and then that's where I did her animation. Oh yeah, and I made that beforehand too. This is an actual model.
That is pretty cool.
It was super cheap. This thing's rough. I had no idea how to texture map or anything. It just looks okay because of the high shadows.
Is it just bump mapping, or
no? There's no bump maps.
You use some kind of program to actually make it pretty hard.
There is a. Oh yeah, if you walk away from anything, that's why when I finish something, I like to come back or set it to the side, come back a couple days later, and make sure it looks okay. It's only bigger stuff. It's a program that will take a picture, and it will try to interpret it using vectors. So like for this, it'll create a vector here to like curved with a point here, a point there, a point here, a point here, a point here, and it will try to create the whole thing that instead of using pixels to draw the edges, it's drawing it with shapes. And but when I did it originally, these ones had tons of vectors everywhere. So I had to go through manually and start moving them to their approximate, like actually having it here. Because it should have it where it cuts here, this where it angles, one here so that it arcs around this curve, another one right here so it curves around here. So I had to manually go through, remove all this fluff from the whole thing. Because otherwise all these curves with the light hitting it would have all these bumps all over the place. Mm-hmm. So I went through, cleaned it all up, took me a while. Then when it's a vector, and a vector is infinitely scalable, because it is just curves. So because of that, it's super easy to then import into Blender, where it actually will take the information from this vector and etch it into a surface. And the program will make different shapes based on the color. So when I loaded it in, I just artificially colored everything different colors. And so I made the stars and the horses were one color. The sun had two different colors, one for the beams or the corona, and then the one for the center. And then this had two different colors, the purple and the moon. And then the background, obviously. But when that came in, I could grab each of those individual pieces and then pull them forward and just stretch them a little bit to go forward. But I had no idea how to do texture mapping. So for that, I just identified each individual model within there as it having its own texture, and then I just mapped a single color to them all. It was so there's like 8 different textures loaded, but they're all like 2x2 pixel, so they're super tiny. But I wanted these shadows. I wanted it when looked at from here to actually have definition. Though technically it looks different between these 2 shots now that I think about it. Very different. Is there a light off on here? I might need to...
I mean, she's got like a haze of overhead in that shot too.
Well, it's because... Yeah, that's because she has these coming down, so they would be coming in from the top of the camera.
Yeah.
So
Well, that looks fine now. There was like some kind of weird like glow overhead there, right
Oh,
there.
it's because when you're in this shot, I had to artificially add a whole bunch more there.
Okay.
But when I jump to this shot, until it processes something different, it's still pulling that processed information from the other shots.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I move this and then it re-renders this, it'll get rid of it. It's the same reason why if I jump into this shot, it's not going to be there, and then I move it, and it's going to pop in. So, but yeah, I probably should take some of this brighter lighting from here and move it into the other one.
So,
Well, I hope that the lighting tutorials helped. That is a topic that I love, but is super hard to explain.
do you enjoy your lighting?
Very much so. I thought actually I was going to break my light amounts on that. Now, is that too bright?
You know, speaking of derpy, which is the best thing to speak about, I saw the My Little Pony Facebook, and it asked, "Who's your favorite pony?" And it had lots of ponies listed. Derpy wasn't on the list. It had super obscure horses. Derpy wasn't one of them. Hasbro doesn't give Derpy the love she deserves.
In fact, they did it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but even if they gave her 3 times as much attention, you'd be like, that's not enough.
They don't give her any attention because they don't want to use her name.
No, her name is Muffins.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that because they'll piss off fans like me.
No, but they did. In the credits, her name is
in
Muffins.
the credits, but they never say it out.
Well, they never say it, but her name is Muffins.
And they don't put it on the merchandise.
Well, yeah, there they just put I Heart Derpy's face.
Derpy's face. They don't put it on any of the merch, and they don't say it ever in the show because a lot of fans would never accept that as their name because it's Derpy. But they had to put it as something in the credits, and I guess they did not for that gray horse.
I got distracted. I have to remember what I was doing for this pony. No, it was... because now I'm stuck with it, now that I think about it, because now it's all the way on... No, wait, I didn't do anything in the other shots. It would take me a while to undo, but I can.
An outrage, I agree.
You know, because it's stuck with that, but that's fine. Because what I want to do is I want to have them be slightly, like, whatever, but I have a feeling that if I speed this up, it's going to be too much. Because this probably should be... Let's just go like half of that.
I'll tell you this, classic vinyl. You'll be happy to hear that whenever Tabitha St. Germain writes her own script for My Little Pony, which she does pretty often and then plays them out at conventions, she'll have the voice actors and actresses like do the voices, and she'll play. She puts Derpy in a lot of her scripts because she plays the voice of Derpy, and she always uses the word name Derpy. And it makes me very happy because she can. But she says outright at the start of them that nobody's allowed to record her actually playing out the scripts because if Hasbro found out, it could get her in trouble. Because those characters are copyrighted and she's writing scripts without their permission.
Well, they can write scripts. It's not. That's just writing whatever. Unless it's in their contract that they can't put words on paper.
I mean, there's something to it because she says outright that she doesn't want it recorded, and there's people who go around to make sure it doesn't get recorded. So there's some kind of legal issues she could get into. No, I'm going to one in July, Syria. Hopefully. And I think the online funny convention's this weekend.
There will be more conventions for MLP for sure. It's just whether or not some of them survive it, the Corona thing. But most of the ones that are going to be affected are the ones that were right at that period. But it also depends if there's a resurgence in the winter or not.
People are going to be taking a year off as well. I mean, if nothing else, I just want to see some friends at the conventions that I don't get to see otherwise. You should come, Surya. We haven't seen you in a while. We haven't seen anybody in a while. To be fair. Quarantine and whatnot. The only person I've seen is you and my boss. I've seen very little of him. Rain is still going. I figured I'd just passing through. I'll be right back.
Can I just do this? No, I can't. That works actually. I still think this might be too much. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Just want this part. Good, the second bounce is not nearly as high. That should work if it's going to work. Now the question is, I think this was crunched to 3 times speed. Oh, I need to do more than just the leg selection. Oh no, it was something like this. I want to make sure I get it right. Two and a half? Oh no, that's... I think it's down to 4. I can do it right here. 5 seconds. Okay, that's easy. Oh, 5 seconds for 3? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And there's 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay, I guess so. That actually works surprisingly well. I don't think I have to change anything. Michael.
What's up?
Brace.
Oh no. It's so young! Oh, you sure you can't have her tongue sticking out? Because that would make it so cute. My heart would explode. Like she was concentrating really hard on her clapping.
I thought about lifting the hoofs more, but I don't think I have to.
Nah, that looks great.
I still think it feels very stiff on her back, but when you look at it from this angle, it actually works. So I'll keep it.
Yes.
Well, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that they're because at the end of this, that's what they're doing. They're all applauding.
That destroyed Catch-a-Lot.
So I don't want to have it be I don't want to animate more than one of this. I don't want to have one guy freaking the fuck out while doing it and another one. And well, actually, I kind of. So what I can do is change the speed. So I can give one person like this speed, and then I can give another one like this speed.
That's cute.
And then another one kind of slowing it down. So I can mix it up, which is nice. But for now, I want to keep this at the original speed.
No, there's lots of ponies who are cute. It's just that Derpy's at the top of the cute list. Like, among the ranking of cute, she is the cutest.
So that means that you're going to go up to another pony that's there and say, "You are not the cutest."
It's anyone who's not Derpy. She's the cutest. You would agree, right? Right? He's just like...
This is going to be one of those streams that you're going to get like your dream job, and then I'm going to blackmail you.
What?
I'll make a compilation of you going, "Yay, Derpy!"
Yeah, I'd be like, I have finally achieved greatness. And it's just gonna be like video release, like
This is going to be your blackface situation.
No, I'll be okay with that. This is the worst that people can find on me, is that I enjoy cute horses.
It's enough. So I copied this 3 times, so I have to bring this down to 15 seconds.
I'm gonna have all the poems, Surya. I don't know what you're talking about.
There we go.
I can boot them all.
She dancing.
Cute dancing. This is cute. That's some cuteness.
And some of them I'm gonna probably.
Getting you to do anything cute with the ponies is hard.
Some of these I'm gonna have them do like that. They'll be like murder.
Yes, that's so cute. Now, please, just have her eyes like that and the tongue, just for a second.
Like
I
this?
just need that. No, not that. that's yes, that is cute. Now she says no, it's too high. You break her face. Why do you do this? Every time. You just want to hurt me.
Torture and pain.
It is torture.
Well, it's my worst and best convention experiences.
Worst one was when you met me. Hands down.
It's on the list, but what would be the worst convention experience?
I'm trying to remember any time I heard you complain.
Because I've had some rough spots for conventions, but I mean, like, my biggest regret was BronyCon, not the last year, but the year before. I didn't know that Prince was performing, and I missed it. And that was the one where he premiered the song based from Remembrance, and that pissed me off that I missed that. But that was more of a regret, not a bad experience. Also, I missed one of the spaghetti dinners with the anthology group, but because I guess they didn't really contact me about it. But I can't really think of what I would consider to be a worst experience at the conventions.
Now, why you didn't have a good time at a convention, and has there ever been a convention where you didn't have a good time?
I've had better conventions than others, but I don't know if I've had a convention that I say I didn't have fun. All of them are going to have their ups and downs, but
good to get out of the house, really. Sometimes it's all you need. It's just to have a change of.
I can't really think of worst. In terms of best, though, that had to be the entire evening after Remembrance's premiere.
When you talked to me for the first time, and I went and ruined it.
Well, because I think it was the same day. Like, Remembrance premiered, and then I got to talk with people for like an hour afterwards because like everybody wanted to talk, and it was awesome. Well, from the audience that watched, Anthology 6 premiered. There's a 5. Anthology 5 premiered with a huge audience, and super a lot of energy, and then I got really drunk and walked the streets of Baltimore, and it was like 1 a.m. and then we still didn't want to go to bed, so we ended up like going over to a Buried 2 party for a while, and that was a super fun night. It was so much good happened so in a like little amount of time.
Here's what I remember after Anthology premiered the first convention we went, I met you at, and my sister was talking to you. This is what I remember, is my sister talked to you two having a really good chat, and me just kind of off on the side, just drinking beer and watching. That was that entire convention.
Yeah, I don't remember you much that convention.
No,
I remember like 2 things with you, and that was it.
You probably remember my sister, because you talked your ear off for a good
Not
half
yeah, a little
hour.
bit, but also that was the night where I was drinking a lot.
Yeah. But you had your laptop out, you were showing her the video. Like,
Maybe.
you were like 1-to-1. She was just sitting next to you. You had your laptop out. Yeah, you were showing her the video in the bar, and I was just kind of off to the side drinking, dressed up as Big Macintosh. Because my sister had dressed me. And that was the first convention I met you at. And then I actually hung out with you a lot more at the following Cider Fest later that year, where I got abandoned in Chicago on the way home. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, I legitimately can't think of a bad thing at conventions. We've had some, like I had that one person that somebody said they wanted to meet me, so they came and met up with them, and then he like followed us around for like an awkward amount of time. Like we even went out to eat and he followed us even though he had things to do and other friends to hang out with. He ignored them and just went and followed us around everywhere. That was a little weird. Yeah, I can't. I anytime I try to think of anything, it's either been just times that are average or times that are great or greater. Unless I'm just like blacking out any of the. Oh, actually, you know what? I do have one of the worst. BabsCon last year, because I got the flu while I was there, and I had to spend an entire day in the hotel room.
Well, that would be for that
because it was a little over a year ago.
no.
We did tell him to go with his friends, go whatever. I had to actually get aggressive at one point, and I was trying to be nice about it. And I've seen him since then, but he was a lot different, and even apologized because he realized he was being kind of a dick. And now I talk to him and he's fine, so that's cool. But no, I think the worst is I caught the flu, and it was like during the day, during one of the conventions, like all the day I had the panels, I was talking so much, and then by the evening I thought like I'm losing my voice. But it ended up being that I just got something hit me hard, and I spent the entire day in the hotel room just sleeping or laying down like in a coma. Some of the guys were trying to be like, dude, you got to come out and like hang out, and I'm like, no. If I move, I get dizzy and I feel like crap. But yeah, and then what was interesting though is that was the convention happened. I got really, really sick, but this was supposed to be a really busy week because I was in California from Wednesday, and I was going to be coming back Tuesday. Yeah, do they have an extended one day or earlier one day? I think it went an extra day. No, it was started a day early. So we got there Wednesday. I got back Monday, but I was supposed to fly out on the day after I got back within 24 hours. So I went from California back to Minnesota, and then I was supposed to fly out from there to Pennsylvania for work. And I had the flu. And that flight home from California to Minnesota was horrible. One of the worst flights I've ever taken because just pressure and everything while you have the flu. And so I had to call my boss when I got back to say I'm not going on this trip. And so he agreed, and he's like, yeah, that's fine, you don't have to go. And at the same time, I put him at 2 weeks because I got a new job. So
wait a minute, when did you get the flu?
a year ago,
Like,
actually almost exactly a year ago.
when did I come to visit? Last year, like around the holidays. It was like around January.
No, it's April.
It was for Denise's birthday.
Yeah, so it was 3 months before.
Okay. Because I had the flu when I came to visit.
That was because you were stupid.
Well, I didn't have it when I came to visit, but I definitely had it while I was here. Like, I was on the plane, I was fine, but after, like, a day here, it's just... Like, by my second day here, I was just done. So, on such a hard level. And the trip home was probably similar to what you had. Just miserable on an airplane.
Flying on a plane with the flu, with pressure changes, and I'm already super susceptible to anything to do with ears or dizziness or vertigo, because I get vertigo really easily, and so that just threw me off. And I was fine on most of the flight, but during landing, it felt like I had an out-of-body experience. Like my whole brain just like got disconnected from my body, and it was horrible. And that's why when I called and I was like, yeah, I'm not flying. I don't care. Cancel the flight. I know it's 24 hours from now, but I'm canceling it. And he's like, nope, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
How do you do with heights?
Heights?
Yeah, if you get vertigo, super easy.
No, I don't. Well, heights don't bother me because you only get the vertigo if your brain gets confused with it. But like earlier today, I was leaning out my third-story window, cleaning stuff, and I just looked straight down, and it didn't bug me.
I get a bit of vertigo with heights.
If your brain tries to figure out something with it, then yes, I would. But
you
it's
said
not.
You have issues scrolling too quickly down the website.
Yeah. So like, if I'm on,
don't do it to yourself.
No, but like, say I was got a meme base here. So if I'm scrolling down a page and my brain anticipates that there should be more to continue on, because your brain is always processing things in certain ways to make it so that it anticipates motion, and so that's one of the reasons that it makes it so it's easier to process things, but in doing so it also anticipates the motion. So if I keep scrolling and I keep going and I get to the bottom and I don't realize it's the bottom and I think there should be more, I will actually get hit with vertigo because my brain thought that it kept everything moving in my vision, thinking that it was supposed to move, and that confusion disorients me. Yeah, that's how bad my vertigo gets, and I have VR, so I'm very careful with that. But I used to drink a lot of ginger tea because ginger tea was a natural herbal. It's an herbal remedy for vertigo.
That did help a lot that one time.
But that was for something else. But ginger tea is just nice.
It was nice on my stomach. I had to go to a trip to Las Vegas not a few months ago before this whole quarantine. Like, right as this whole quarantine thing was starting, I had to take a trip to Las Vegas. And, I was sick, like, to my stomach, like, really sick. And, he gave me some ginger tea, and it actually, helped me survive.
Against the hive, source of the...
Good stuff. I still legit appreciate that.
Ginger tea is just good. Like, because I still don't know what it was, but I had just this time back in 7-8 years ago. It was early Pony. No, I think this is before Pony. Before kind of the fandom. I was laid off at the time, and I just woke up one morning and I had the whole world sideways. Like, when I opened my eyes, everything was turned 90 degrees, and I almost fell out of bed sitting. Like, I wasn't trying to get up. When I opened my eyes, my body tried to adjust, and I literally fell sideways and almost out of bed. And it lasted a couple hours. If I had my eyes closed and I was laying down, or I was just staring in one direction, I could get it to go away for a little while, but it lasted a week, slowly dwindling.
What's the term?
that's well, technically just vertigo, but I don't know.
It's like an extreme case.
But I don't know what it was. I had tooth mayors when I was younger, and I know that's caused some issues. I get ear infections super easy, but for that, I didn't have health insurance at the time. So if I were to go in anywhere, it'd be expensive, and so I just didn't want to deal with it. So I just tried other things. So I had my roommate pick up ginger tea and a couple of things that I looked up. Otherwise, I read, I think, all of Project Horizons in like a week because I couldn't move. So I just had my phone. I was laying in bed for about 16 hours, and then I would go to bed. And I've had little bouts like that since, but nothing like that. I have moments every now and then where I'll just be like standing around, and then suddenly I'll just get dizzy, and I'll just kind of have to stop for a minute. But I live with it. It's really hard to go anywhere and you go to a doctor and say, "Hey, I get dizzy," and then be like, "Okay, what are you doing?" "I don't really know because it's infrequent." When was the last time it happened? A couple months ago, and then before that was a year before that. They can't do anything with that. They need it happening at that time, so I just haven't bothered.
They need it both happening at the time. They need it happening frequently enough for them to really suggest anything.
Yeah,
it's kind of the issue that pretty much everyone with migraines has. It's like most people with migraines only get them like maybe a few times a year, and then you're not at the doctor's while you have it. So whatever was causing it's already gone.
Would you like to know more?
Which is why actually they know very little about migraines. But it's a similar issue as far as the inability to really diagnose.
it's fine. I can live with it. It's an annoyance, but it doesn't stop me from living. So
Yeah, I got those, particularly in the breathing area.
fix his feet.
I don't even know that I know what it is like that. Take a full breath anymore.
You don't need to breathe fully.
It's been
We're gamers. We're supposed to forget to breathe sometimes.
right. I mean, it's been since the lung surgery, and even before the lung surgery, I was probably short of breath just because of the tumor. Almost been. I think it's been close to 14 years. That's a long time. But yeah, ginger tea's just ginger that you made into tea, as always. Soaked ginger in water.
But I get a lemon ginger normally.
Yeah.
But ginger tea is also like, it burns a little bit. Ginger tea just has a little bit of it's just a very strong spice. So if you're just drinking the tea, it has like, it's a good burn. Not like, I'm not thinking like hot foods or something. It just has it's just strong, and that's what I actually liked about it. Plus, I just think it's naturally sweet. So yeah. So even after everything, I used to drink it randomly.
Against the
I always
hive,
thought it was
the source of the changeling invasion.
But just in general, I like tea for upset stomach because it helps.
Well, if you drink, I wasn't drinking soda at that time. I'd cut it out for a while, and if it's the same reason, like I didn't like sparkling water until I forced myself to drink it, and after a while, because my brain started to realize that drink wasn't soda. So it's the same thing of your brain thinks things should be sweet, so it doesn't taste sweet. I kind of want to fix
Ginger Monsters.
that.
Oi.
Actually, I don't know if I
stopped drinking
can.
them energy drinks a while ago. I stick to good old alcohol now. It's healthier.
Some alcohol's not bad.
Some? I want to go to the store and get a whole box of wine and just drink straight from the tap.
The tap?
The tap of the box, yeah.
Oh, okay. I've been like, you're not hooking it up to our tap.
Wouldn't that be amazing though? Just instead of water coming out of the faucets, it's just wine.
There was
I'd like to live in that world.
There's a thing I watched once of a house where they disconnected the guy's water and then rolled in beer into and hooked it right up to his water line.
Yeah.
Like multiple kegs. And then they while they were away, so when they came back, they went and turned on the water, and it just was beer. And they're like, honey, the sink has beer. They come over there, and he literally grabs a cup, and it's just foaming like normally. And he goes, it's just beer. And so he goes, and they had went and pre-ran all the water in the house to make sure it all would fill the... Yeah, and they went to the shower, and like, the shower is beer.
This is a magical world we live in.
But how are you going to wash? That sounds
yourself a beer. It's a magical new world. Look how happy he is.
Yes. Look how happy he is.
He's so happy. His faces are weird. Bizarre. There's too much chin.
I'd like to know more.
Cause I'm happy. No, you see, Surya, you drink so much that you kill those brain cells that think about the lost brain cells, and then you're fine, because you're not thinking about it anymore. Best advice I can give.
Oh, that's why his head looks weird.
Yeah, he's all smooshed.
Yeah, the female body had it's the head further down, I think.
His torso is still I don't know. Maybe it's just my head.
It might. Oh, actually, it probably is slightly. His body's just overall bigger, and it was trying to squeeze it into the same size.
Dead. Why would I be dead?
But I'm gonna have him not.
Forever.
He's gonna be not as excited.
He's so excited. He's like, I get to look at the princess's butt. That's why he's so excited.
No, now it's he.
Okay.
He's less excited. Can I speed him up then?
Changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know?
It's like, this is why I joined the Royal Guard, is so I could look at her butt.
He's not. He's
Not
not even
right
looking
now.
at her.
Well, what?
Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot.
I'll probably have him actually look forward, I think. So I do like that sped up, so we will speed this up a little bit.
I'm debating whether or not I should get him a drink.
Planning to go to bed early?
That is what would happen.
Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed
I got another drink right now.
Canterlot.
Is it like normal ponies where it's only hot when they're wearing clothing? So it's like, oh my god, she's wearing things.
Yes. It's like, wow.
Against the hive. Against the hive.
Like
Against the hive.
I think
Against the hive.
she kind of just
Hive.
jerks on.
Against the hive.
Oh,
why is he dancing?
he's not dancing. It's the.
Oh, right, he's applauding.
Source.
How no, your brain just went to what would possibly be the cutest way to interpret it.
Yes, they
The
dance.
hive.
That's what I want. I just want all of the speech to end and the ponies just like go into dance. And they start partying and a disco ball drops from the ceiling.
He'd be like, he'd be like,
hive.
yay,
Source of the changeling invasion that
woo!
destroyed Canterlot.
They all just start
Would you
headbanging,
like to know more?
dancing, frolicking, whatnot.
What castle models do you use in SFM? Have I ever used a castle model?
The only time I can think of is when you did that one with,
Hi, Blurred.
oh, what's her name? It was Twilight and Tempest.
But that wasn't a model. That was just a scene build.
It was a good scene build. And it looked
It
like
was a
yeah.
round plate with two pillars. That's all. Well, the one where the missiles are coming down.
Mhm.
All of that.
Like you had used a castle before. I do remember.
Because like here, there's literally they're in a void, and this is just a skybox that I just colored like that, and then some stars that I put in front of it. Yay. And here, this is just a flat model on the ground with some of the old, like, the tent things. So that was nothing. This was, again, just an empty void. No, this one is Canterlot War Games, and then to make this flat surface on front of it, it literally is. I just took in front of the castle, and I just flattened out of the big. It's the Remembrance Circle, the one that I used for that Aggie had made for Twilight's cutie mark, and I just flipped it over because the back is just a big round gray circle, and then I just made it really big.
The only time I've ever seen a complete recreation of Canterlot Castle outside Legends of Equestria.
And then this is that gray model with just 2 pillars. That's all it is.
He killed Rainbow Dash.
You know what's funny?
Murdered his wife.
This pony that's burning.
That's Dolphin Pony.
It's the same one I'm using for the audience here.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm using the same skin. No, wait. No, this is different, actually. Those are the 2 fish. This is the 2 dolphins spinning.
You know what
This is Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze?
Sea Swirl. It's Sea Swirl, I'm pretty sure. Dolphin Pony?
Maybe. I think Swirl might be right.
But, you know what's most disappointing about this video? It's originally you had Derpy in it, and then you took her out.
What was she doing?
Falling out of the sky, same as Rainbow.
Oh, yeah, because originally this was going to end where she was going to launch the fireworks, and then they were going to come down. Or no, there wasn't even going to be that. It was she was going to launch the fireworks up. Then it was going to go to this shot where it had Twilight still standing by Tempest. And Rainbow was just gonna fall down right when the music kicked back in, and like she with like a cracking noise, and Twilight was gonna look on in horror as Tempest just stared with a smile. And then I was gonna have other Pegasus keep falling with the implication that the fireworks had just been launched in the sky full of Pegasus, because she really doesn't give any warning. She's gonna be putting these high explosives in the air, but ended up kind of escalating and then turning into needing to put together this whole shot.
And now there's no Derpy.
Yeah, and so Derpy was originally one of the ponies that collapsed. This shot was super complicated because I couldn't make a billion ponies. I put my OC.
Of course, he made it in.
But no, I didn't. I couldn't put too many ponies because of how many particles and everything are going on. So I was stuck with trying to find a balance. So I put in a few. Plus, I had to make sure they could be shaded, and yeah.
Ponies died in the making of this. Ponies were harmed.
No, she is fine.
The pony on fire, the one who got hit by a firework ball.
She's fine. She's going backwards, back in time. And look at see like the explosions
Rainbow's
on
not
them.
moving.
Well, she's fine. But a lot of this too was recycle. This animation of her running is just a running cycle. Her standing, she's literally not even animated. The only thing I animated was her hair, because I didn't want her moving at all. Just like she's entranced. Rainbow's hitting the ground was a recycle of it was either doors.
It does look like the fall from Doors that Twilight does, where you murdered Twilight. You have a history of murdering ponies.
She happens. No, like because no. So this one, it wasn't this one. I did reuse that one at some point though.
Dead.
No, it had to be. Where's the white one? What did I name that one? It was just flight and blah 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 steps.
Where you had her smash against the chalkboard?
Yeah.
But then you made that one after.
No, I'm looking in the extras folder. That's why it's not there. There it is. I think it's the one where she gets slammed. Yeah.
I thought you made this one after that one. I thought this one was nowhere.
This was 10/20/2018. And what did I do? 7/8/2019. So yeah, it was like 9 months afterwards.
All learned together for
No, so it's just recycled. All of this was original. Trying to copy everything, like even all the motion that Twilight does. So in the original one, Twilight leans forward, then does a little upwards, downwards, and then just follows her along, and then she does this little swing over.
Which is very cute, by the way. How happy she is.
But then trying to get it to match, because in the original there was a purple light coming from the left and it was lit from the right. It was pink hazy at the bottom, while darker blue at the top. But since they were both of a light color and a dark color, Twilight only could take so much light and she needed more of it. So trying to angle that all. The crater impacts were just a mixture of stuff. So there is. It's the same thing for when I did the layer of fatality that you brought up before. So it's just a bunch of rocks that come out of the ground. So there is no actual hole; it's just implied. So there's rocks that come up. The rocks that fly away here, into the air. Some of them are the TF2 ones, I think.
That
but
one he died.
Otherwise, there was a Dota one I found that had a piece of an explosion, and as they went, they shrink and kind of fade into the distance. So I didn't have to worry about them hitting the ground, but it still looked like there was stuff flying. And then it was just taking a fire particle effect. Or changing the color of it from red to white, and then having it injected with blue, so it looked like kind of a glow. But then also some of the white was put at the bottom to create a base of white, and then above it would be a bluer. And then just a ton of lights in all the corners. The particles for the lights coming down, I believe that the head of it is one model and the trail is another, but I can't remember how that was put together. It was just again, I think a Dota particle that I just
I remember the original
modified.
particle you wanted to use broke. You found that one.
Yeah, or it didn't work for flying in the background because I needed something that was easily scalable.
So why did Lotus have to die? I think that's Lotus.
Oh yeah, this one? Yeah, if you watch.
She's dead.
And it's in the original video. You can't see it here, but she actually goes flying. But it ended up not being a camera, so I had to change it.
She's just dead.
She is dead.
She just blows into pieces. Loved ones were lost.
Well, and trying to figure out how to do it here too, like, so this angling everything correct here. When I did this was actually pretty close to the camera, so I had to have these artificially increase in size as they came, so it looks like they're getting closer, when in reality, they're not getting that much closer. They're actually pretty close, and it's just an illusion that they're getting closer. But then here, this one is much bigger than this one, and having it, I think even some of these are like this one coming across in the background is different than the one that actually is coming down because it wasn't working. And then some of these like random crap being thrown is more TF2 pre-made model with motion. though I did make it. I threw down one of them, and then every time one went and clipped Tempest, I didn't just get rid of it. I made it bounce off of her. So it just has little pieces like just knock it off her. I love that part. That was one of my favorite. I think one actually hit her in the head. I can't remember.
She's just completely trapped.
Yeah, there's one right there.
It's really noble. That poor pony.
But there it is.
See, you finally got it.
It was so. I love that. It's probably my favorite part of the video. Just her just standing there stoically as things just bounce off of her. Is there anything else in this video that was goofy? This is also where there's this thing with tilted cameras, and I love tilted cameras, but it's about using it in the correct situations. So, like, when you ever have a shot where you're trying to represent it as just a normal conversation, normal life, normal everything, you always want to keep the cameras perfectly with the horizon. And that's what like this is. But anytime that things get unnatural, magical, chaotic, awkward, tilting the camera helps build that. And so like here, the camera is tilted sideways, so it makes it feel like the whole world is at odds. So the camera is tilted here, and the camera is tilted here. So it helps make a awkward situation feel even more awkward. I love using tilted camera for stuff. Yeah, it makes it stand out, but it makes it feel like something supernatural. So anytime I have situations like that, I try to tilt the camera. For instance, on Remembrance, when she goes and looks at the door here, this is actually tilted on its side a little bit for the purpose of it being intimidating and wanting it to feel awkward and supernatural. And this one was not really a tilt, that's more of like a twist or something like that. But I keep all steady until this shot right here, when everything starts going into the supernatural range. So when the power starts raising around her, that's why I did the tilted camera there. And when it explodes here too, right at the last second, it twists and then untwists. But from here on, a lot of the times the camera is being twisted and turned. Well, normally I wouldn't do that in a shot. So it all the other ones, or at least most of the other shots, don't utilize that. So, but then this one I don't think I did because it just didn't fit. But that's why also here, when she goes to fall over, I wanted to help show that the disorientation. So while she falls to her right, the camera's like tilting even more than she is. Like you're seeing her world spinning out. So yeah, I love camera tilts when they're used correctly. You can do some really cool things. Just camera tricks. I actually had the issue where I think it was last stream I figured out this camera actually had a slight tilt to it, and I think I fixed that. I don't remember why it happened. You have to be careful because sometimes, like, if you have the camera doing certain types of motions, it will just, like, and you do a 90-degree spin, it will add tilt to the camera because of just how it's just trying to interpret the motion. So you got to be careful. You don't want tilt where you don't want tilt.
Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Ken.
I'm gonna grab Shining here. We're gonna grab his little bouncing here and add it in here.
plans for offensive.
Always. And always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a counter.
Okay, I know what he's doing, but from an observer,
Plans for a counter offense. Plans for a.
it looks like he's just wiggling. So I am going to probably keep that, but I'm going to reduce it.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a.
I am going to.
Now and always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a.
I'm going to make him a little less frowny. A little less angry.
Counteroffensive.
Always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces.
Always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. I think I just, his head is ultra stationary.
Celestia announces.
I think I just need to adjust it.
Celestia announces. Celestia announces plan. For a counter. Offensive.
Oh, you need to fill their desks.
Princess Celestia announces plan. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces plan. Celestia announces plan.
Maybe he does.
Princess Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive.
I thought about, you could have him like actually do something like that, but if I have him do that, then it makes it feel weird for everybody else because like people in the audience, why are not people there not doing it? So,
Her Highness Princess Celestia. Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a. Announces plans. Announces plan. Yeah, announces plans for a counter-offensive. Yeah, announces plans. Yeah, announces plans for a counter-offensive. Yeah, announces plans for a counter. Yeah, announces. Against the Hive. Source of the Changeling invasion that. Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive against. Announces plans for a counter. a counter offensive. Plans for a counter offensive. Plans for a counter offensive. Plans for a counter. Plans for a counter. Plans for a counter. Celestia announces plans for a counter offensive. For a counter. For a counter.
Trying to give him a little bit more life.
Plans for a counter effect. Plans for a counter effect. For a counter effect. For a counter. Plans for a counter offensive. Announces plans for a counter. Announces plans for a counter.
Okay. Just do this with left and right, but
It's for a counter offensive. It's for counter. It's for a counter offensive against the Hive. Announces plans for a counter offensive against the Hive. Source of the change. Plans for a counter offensive. Celestia announces plans for a counter offensive against Celestia announces plans.
okay. I can see him applauding. I am not sure on the other ones. There, that'll work. I need to set up a reminder for myself for checking on stuff. I have a big work coin for like to give away. What do they call them? Challenge coins every year. So I have a couple, and they're good for reminders.
Plans for a counter-offensive against Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for Princess Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive against.
Okay, so he's fine then. Probably put his tail down a little bit. I thought I fixed that. Oh. Actually, I don't know where it was fixed because it's apparently not here. Only matters is bugging me. There. Actually, I can just do that motion on all of it. Oops. Okay. And when he starts doing his little pee dance, we'll have his tail brought down a bit. Just because it's easier to deal with by just hiding it.
Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive against.
That's the other thing I need to make sure of. So I need to fill this desk with desk objects. are floating.
Plans for a counter-offensive against the announces plans for a counter-offensive against the Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more?
Okay, so then yeah, I just need to figure out them three. It's just, I'm pretty sure he would applaud a military speech. She would probably. I don't see her stamping with it. I see her being serious in that not celebrating war. At least that's my interpretation of it. But I want her to.
Celestia announces plans. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces plans. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces plans for a Princess Celestia.
Kind of not liking her head on this. I feel like it's a little sideways.
Celestia announces. Celestia announces. Celestia announces plans for a counter-offensive.
Yeah, that works.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces.
I'm gonna have her turn her head a little bit later into this. I didn't want to have like everybody doing everything at once. Maybe I'm gonna go a little bit more.
Her Highness Princess Celestia.
Oh.
Her Highness Princess Celestia. Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans. Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a country.
Okay, good. She does have some motion there.
Her Highness Princess Celestia.
Is there a reason that I have her jump here? Oh yeah. So I can have her pop over at any time here. I want to have her pop in now because her hair won't have its wobble.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for
But I didn't want to have both Luna and her churning in the same direction at the same time because it feels like then they're doing it for a reason. So I wanted to disconnect the two.
Announces plans for a counteroffensive against
So yeah, I think that the only two men that really need to know are Twilight and Cadence. Is Cadence a bloodthirsty warlord? Is Twilight a bloodthirsty warlord? I don't know. I need more info.
And always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a counter.
Okay. I wonder if I don't think it would cause. I'm thinking it'll still cause me memory issues if I copy paste this audience to the other shot, but I don't know. We will try. Nope. No change in memory. Alright, so this will be, because I can at least get this, the idea, whether or not it's working, what I'm doing. Well, my concern with it is, I still have things to do in this shot, so I don't want to make it hard to work with. Like, if I'm trying to still make changes to the lighting, it is more difficult now because I have that. Even if I, what is this called? Just audience. Even if I hide it, it helps, but it's still really laggy. So, how's Nap?
Nap was good.
Sun came out.
I saw it. It's cooler on the other side because you see the sunset. I'd almost actually recommend looking at that window right now.
Is it orange?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's the sun right in my face.
It's pretty.
It's the sun.
Stare at it.
Oh yes. The scene's a lot brighter now. But no, it's actually really cool. I don't know if you can see it. There's
sunsets are nice.
Out the window, the trees. It's horrible on here, but no, the trees are. The sun's hitting the tops of the trees, but it's all clouds behind it, so it's actually pretty neat. I love when it does that. It's probably got a rainbow.
I'll just get a rainbow. No rainbow.
Maybe, but no, the sun's right there. No, it would be out there. It'd be right out our window. Go get the pot of gold.
I believe that when I was a kid, and I was always like, "Mom, we have to follow the rainbow for the gold," and she'd be like, "We're not doing that." But I never understood why. Didn't she want a pot of gold?
If you want a pot of gold, just take a hose and put your thumb over it, and there you go, rainbow.
Boom. You just gotta get the garden hose.
We are going to see if
I left my glasses upstairs.
you do it every time.
I do. I take them off to lie down, and then I forget them.
Okay. How long is this in comparison to this shot? Oh, good. It's a long ways. Because my concern is I go and copy this, and then the amount of because all I have to do really is I shift it up to 1 second to make it all look different. So, but if I don't give myself enough of that leeway, So we're going to copy this without root transform. And we are going to then go back here. And go to our audience. Oh, no, I want to go right here. Yeah, I'll go right in the middle. Okay.
I have an important question. Can I make waffles tomorrow?
Sure.
Will you eat them?
Yeah. Do you have a special type of waffle you want to make?
Nope.
From scratch?
Yeah, I was gonna make it in trash.
Do you want my recipe?
I feel like I'd have to take it now.
Well, it's not.
I'll feel insulted.
No, I only like those because it's not just
I'll
standard
make
waffle. They're because they're cinnamon, vanilla.
I just want to eat something that's not eggs.
My parents and sister are gonna be over a little bit tomorrow. They're not coming inside. They're dropping off something and not talking from the driveway.
No.
I also have to paint the
AMD, Surya. AMD's better. Intel might have better processors, but you get more for your money from AMD.
Yeah, no, AMD is a better. Intel's a better product, but AMD is a lot of bang for your buck, and is closing the gap.
I have AMD in mine. I think you have AMD in yours.
No, I have Intel.
You have Intel?
I have a 9700K, I think.
Really, to answer that question, sir, you have to go to that benchmarking website. I think that's just what it's called, is benchmark. And then they basically have a rundown. No. They march to our destruction. our adorable destruction. Yes. If you saw all those ponies marking at you like that, would you just like, yep, I'm prepared to be conquered? Because I'd be prepared to be conquered. They'd be just like, we gonna conquer you, and I'd be like, oh no, what will you make me do? And it's like, you're going to have to give us scritches every day. And I'd be like, oh no.
Here to come.
They demand scritches. They're so cute. They're so adorable.
Okay. Now, this is the fun part. So now I have to make sure that they're all going at like different times. So I can play with them on just about any amount of motion that I want here. And I don't have to pay attention about doing it exact. It's not a science. It's just whip it.
That's just what I want. Like, just an adorable video of ponies conquering humans and humans just being like, oh no, guess we have to do whatever you say now. Give you boops and scritches.
But what if they came and they said, give us your children for the sacrifice?
I mean...
What you're saying is, I wish that they would conquer us in the way that I choose.
I mean, they can take the kids as long as they still get the boo-boo.
No, this isn't a negotiation.
I feel like it needs to be.
Well, then it's not a negotiation.
Can I give you...
I don't like this deal.
Look.
Well, it's not a negotiation, but I still don't like it.
Look, as long as I'm in their company, that'll be enough. And I'll sneak scritches and boops. I mean...
This guy did not get the message. I missed one on the copy paste.
I'll sacrifice other people's children. So it's fine.
Remember the quote from Shrek?
What's that?
Oh yeah. Some of you will die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I love that one.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're attacking.
I just realized there's a rainbow here.
But yeah. It is so adorable. This is an army of geese.
So does that work, or do I need to...
I think it's not going to look right until you get the clapping, but you can hear the... Are they clapping? I can't hear it.
It is.
I just see cute.
Would you like to know
I just see
more?
cute happening.
I think what it needs is all of them not standing the exact same distance from the chair.
Why?
Because they are all...
I think that's essentially what you would get if everybody got up from, like, chairs that were all lined up.
I think that it would be a good idea to just take a couple of these, and I do not want to adjust.
They are cuter if they're all in straight lines, though.
But like move one to the side a little bit. Make one up here a little bit. And I'm doing this by pelvis, because if I do it by pelvis, it means all of their roots are still the same, so I can still copy paste these to the chairs, and as long as it matches their seat in the original, it'll still put them back into a new position. Or at least that's the intent. So I want to make this versatile.
These apples are already starting to go bad. Eat them faster.
Yeah, this feels a little bit more natural when they're not all standing in a perfect row.
That reminds me of a picture I saw somebody draw of Fluttershy riding a scorpion. Like, you'd think the scorpion would be super upset that it's being ridden. But he was okay with it. He's like, and the caption just read, "I'm strangely okay with this."
Don't think I can move them much more backwards. Well, you know what? I can. I just need to be careful which one I do. Like, I can do that with this guy. Because his tail is shorter.
But you gotta get food, man.
The assumption I'm making here is that there's going to be some probably groups here that have been sitting in these chairs for at least 30 seconds and not been having friendship snuggles, so they need to get up and move.
Why aren't they having friendship snuggles? It's a very good question. I'm glad someone asked.
Would you like to...
There should be ponies so happy they just start kissing.
You gotta make it sexual.
No!
It's a slippery slope, Michael.
This is cute.
Starts with kissing.
And then...
Non-consensual booping.
Non-consensual whooping.
boop, then kiss. Or kiss them.
Against the Hive,
Kiss.
source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot.
Okay, I am going to go through here, I think, and adjust the timing just a little bit. So it doesn't, so it feels a little different.
And you give the pony a big old hug. And then you run away with the pony. And throw it in the back of your car.
Pony, pony, pony,
Drive
pony,
away.
pony, 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 spike.
Like,
Canterlot. Would you like to know more?
You need to make sure that if I do stretch or shrink that I'm not pushing any of these out, or they're non-animation areas into the animation area. And the reason for this is that I was noticing that some of the swaying forward and backwards is becoming like a wave. And by doing this, I can throw that wave off.
you know what you need in this scene?
You've added a lot of things that
this
you want to
is a
see.
good thing. We need
Oh,
like,
so Derpy wasn't.
it's not about derpy, but it could be if you really wanted to. I'm not gonna say. But if you could have a guy walking up and down the aisle selling hot dogs.
That'd be a whole. That would probably be more custom animation for that hot dog guy than the rest of
like
it.
hot dog, like over the crowd, like they're all clapping. You just hear hot dogs, get your
Was
hot
that-
dog.
No,
Because they're really good at that. They're loud.
no, that's not part of the narrative. That man is at war.
He's selling hot dogs.
It's the Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more? Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more? See that Canterlot. Would you like to know more? Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more?
Oh, I thought that person was like kind of clipping a little bit. I was like, I thought I saw Pony upside down. It's because it just seems too much. No, that actually looks pretty decent.
Invasion that destroyed Canterlot. The Hive, source
You know,
of the
this
changeling
was the
invasion
show,
that destroyed
the actual
Canterlot.
show. This entire crowd would have people dedicated to going
Would you like
through it and naming each and every one of those ponies.
We did.
I know we did.
There's Plumber Jane.
Mm-hmm.
As it's got, so that's Plumber Jane, and where's Water Lime? There's Water Lime. There's
True Rummies.
this one's Thunder Chuckles.
Thunder Chuckles. Everybody loves Thunder Chuckles.
There's Bright Thighs,
Oh my.
Clumsy Reaper,
He's the edgy one.
Bob, Bapkins, Darkness Eternal,
That's edgy.
Tommy Pot, Swiggles, Benicky, Covenant Colonel,
I hope somebody like
Puffy Poof,
goes through this someday. The season all the ponies.
Michael Bay,
Michael Bay the pony. Yes.
Michael Bay but B-A-E.
He's so Bay.
Yeah, Pinky Red. Yeah, we named them all just for fun. And they're all there. So yeah, I think that
I couldn't keep up with my names after season 1.
I think that kind of works. I only need to throw some off. I don't need to like readjust them all. It just makes it so that like when I look here, I'm not seeing it all, just all the butts in the same order all the way in a circle. Now it actually throws it off, and it does make it feel more natural.
Natural butts.
So you don't need to make it completely random. You just need to throw in enough random to make it not feel consistent. But there is no such thing as random.
5. Source of the...
Okay. So once that audience gets filled, that's going to be a fun one.
I had a pretty random dream last night.
Were you pregnant?
No, I was having a Marvel superhero dream, and there was like Spider-Man and like Robin from Batman and stuff. I crossed universes, but there was one superhero who was super focused on, and he was called the Falconer, and he wasn't from anything. He was just a dude with a falcon who had a time machine, and he was a sharpshooter. And I think the most prevalent part...
You sound like Mordecai.
The most prevalent part of his entire character was like, "Hey, you Spider-Man!" He was talking to some random dude. I think it was like Static Shock or something. He's like, "Hey, Spider-Man, what's up?" And he's like, "That's not Spider-Man." And then the actual Spider-Man's behind him. He tries to get his attention, and he just zips around and shoots him with the Dragon Laser dart because he gets startled. And that was like the dream.
You need to stop drinking before bed.
I mean, it seemed pretty random. I'm just saying. It was like an old hillbilly with a time machine.
It's Super Mike.
That's dope.
It's Super
Mike. Trained Spider-Man?
No, actually, no. There already is a Super Michael Moore. It's just not you.
No. One day.
He needs a big, stupid... What was that? Michael Moore is a big, stupid...
A fat, stupid white guy or something.
Because, like, his name is actually Michael Moore. I just went near it. I said, why is Michael stupid? And I came up with Michael Moore's a big, fat, stupid white man.
Yeah.
And it was one of the greatest moments in history. So, yeah. You have the same name as a brilliant man. According to this book.
Yeah, well, I don't think... Something tells me the person who wrote that book isn't a fan of his.
Actually, the best person to have write that would probably be Michael Moore. Because then he could make money off both sides.
He's just him with a mustache. He's like, ha-ha. They'll never know.
I want to take down this picture and just replace that background with you. But yeah, that was an amazing moment. I will cherish it for the rest of my life.
Hey, this whole apple. Oh,
so I think this...
In Manhattan,
they're animated for what I need.
The Equestrian Council convenes.
No, Twilight's not.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
Twilight's good enough, I think.
Sir, yeah, I'm worried about any pictures you have of me. Mainly because I hate pictures of myself, but...
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
Like, all these, videos that we're recording right now, I've never watched this.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian...
The what?
I never will. These videos of me sitting here, I will never watch them.
Why?
Because I cannot stand looking or hearing myself.
I used to be that way with the stream, but after doing this for long enough, I kind of just don't care anymore. So now I can go back and watch. I can hear myself, and it doesn't bother me.
I can't hear or see myself without pulling myself apart.
Manhattan, the Equestrian
today.
Manhattan, the Equestrian.
Somebody will show me a picture of me, they took, hey, I took this picture of you last year or something, and it'll immediately put me in a bad mood. Like, I'm not in a bad mood, but I will be uncomfortable.
Hatton, the Equestrian Count.
I mean, if you got a picture of me and you like it, great.
The Equestrian
I'm just
Count.
not really all that keen in seeing.
I have lots.
I know you probably do. And I've seen some of them. And I'm just, I don't want them framed or anything like that. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of my face. Or my voice.
Let's see here. Where is Michael? Oh, here's Adam.
Adam's fine.
He's got all the wood.
He's got all
I
the
think
shit in that shot.
I had posted some picture on Twitter from that game, and it ended up being N.A. Larson was in the background, and somebody called out that he was in the shot. Let's see. We can find.
Hey, there's some derpies.
Oh, look. It's the Great and Powerful Trumpsy.
I remember that. They got their money back when it sold on charity auction.
Yeah.
I'm surprised anybody bought it.
Some of the anthology crew bought a stand-up of Hillary Clinton. This is before the election. Bought a stand-up of Hillary Clinton and then a Trump mask. Put the Trump mask on Hillary. Put the Trixie hat on top of it, and then bought it a one-day badge that said the Great and Powerful Trumpsy.
I threw $20 in.
And then they put it on the charity auction.
That's when it was a joke.
This is an actual picture. This is not a Photoshop.
That's the cardboard cutout.
It looks like a really, really bad Photoshop, but it's not. It is an actual picture of the cutout, and then they were putting the brownies up behind
Lots
it.
of brownies in the background. Nah, you don't take pictures of me. I avoid the camera like the plague, and I'm okay with that.
The final draft.
Classic draft. He's very photogenic.
But he doesn't do normal faces. He does stupid faces, which normally to me means you're not photogenic. You're trying to hide the fact that you're not.
I think he's pretty cool.
I know I have a picture of you here somewhere.
You know, the camera immediately exploded as soon as you took the photo, so...
There's a kitty.
Meow, meow. That's a cute kitty.
No, I know I have a video of you.
Oh no, not that video. Is it the one when I first got the pillow? Because I am aware that one exists.
No, it was where you were you were feeding the plush with the horse head or something.
Feeding the plush with the horse head.
Yeah, I might need to.
What we're doing.
I need to find this now because this is very important because he's embarrassed and we want to make sure that he is extra embarrassed.
I revealed my vulnerabilities and you're just like, take this.
best way to get better is to be just diving head
I have
first.
seen videos of myself for years and it hasn't gotten better. Some cute derpies.
Here's
It's
Alto.
a cute rainbow dash.
Oh, here's Garnica. And I had a thing where I would tell people that I was taking a picture, but then I'd be taking a video and see how long it takes for them to realize it. And so he's trying to just keep posing for a picture, like, differently.
Yes. You did that to me. That's how the pillow video came around.
And then I tell him it's a video.
Like, yeah, jerk.
No, I need to find my I have one of Michael that's really weird. Denise wearing an actual helmet, and she also told her I was taking a picture.
Just posing forever.
And then she goes, "God damn it, you're taking a video, aren't you?"
Because you did it to everybody for a while.
Oh god, I have dozens of these. I was gonna. Oh, here it is.
Oh, that. Yeah, I legit forgot about that.
Forward, deal breaker, rarity is the best one. This is what happens. That's beautiful. When sisters and brothers marry. It's like
So this is during one of the anthology panels. That's Pimations. During one of the not the anthology panels, there was an anthology pre-screening. We just took all these buttons and just he put it all over himself. But then he does. I need to see. There's an amazing sound. But yeah. That was good. I have tons of videos in here, and I always put them to the side. Here's one of Din. Picture.
I thought you were taking a picture.
No, because he knew pretty quickly that I was doing a video, and then he wanted to see how long I would go.
It's a standoff. It's like, how long can we keep this up? It's getting poked in the face. Were you the one who took that one video? Yeah, you were.
Oh, here's another one of Jay. Like, don't ask questions. This is a very interesting one. We were drunk.
Yes, he was laying with his Applejack.
Wait, it's the thing.
It's the picture.
People can know you do it, and you can still catch them with it. We used to do a New Year's party almost every New Year's when we were all, like, a lot of us in the same apartment, and that was one of the New Year's parties. And I think that was when they were prepping a trailer for Cider Fest. So actually, it might have not have been New Year's. It might have been my birthday because we had like a taco night.
You remember that? That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was like one of the couple times we had a birthday party and we decided to do a Mexican thing. So I had a Mexican hat. I had like the maracas, and we had some stuff. And then every time somebody came in, we were like "Hola!" and we had this like the Mexican hat dance playing on repeat. And we had tacos.
I remember a long time ago you were actually you were thinking about making a compilation video with all those.
Yeah, but some of the people would probably have to get their permission to use their face.
Yeah.
And out of one person did not like that I did that. And so I can't, that's the only one I can't use. When I basically said that they got angry at me.
They got angry at the idea of you putting them in a compilation video.
Because I didn't know who it was, and I just decided to do it to them, and they did not appreciate the fact I did video.
Yeah. I don't mind.
The equestrian
I just don't necessarily want to see it. Not because I'm angry it got posted, just because I don't like it.
Manhattan. The equestrian Hatton. The equestrian.
I'm trying to see if I can just give her a little head shake here.
The Equestrian Council.
Actually, yeah, that'd be the case.
The Equestrian Council.
People were on television that they don't watch their own show.
Well, why would they need to?
I mean,
Hatton.
they
The
don't
Equestrian
need to.
Council.
Nobody needs to. But a lot of people you think would just because they go back and watch themselves.
So, if you were in movies, would you?
Oh, I want to see my videos.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a lot of it's for the same reasons. People are very judgmental of themselves. And
Well, it's the same. Like when I go back and watch my own stuff, all I see is the mistakes. You're not seeing the character; you're seeing yourself, and all your thoughts that you had while doing the character. You can't actually see that character.
Like if you show me any video or anything with like other people in it, I'm in it. I'll legit. The only thing I'll be thinking about is why does everybody else look natural when I was awkward? That's legit my thought.
But awkward and embarrassing and all that make things funnier. Like
you need
it's.
to understand. You see,
Equestrian Council.
and we laugh.
Equestrian
And that
Council.
brings us
No, I've told people before, like with panels, when they're like, "Well, how do you like? I need to do a panel, and I'm really nervous. How do you get through the panel?" And I'd be, the main advice I always give them is things are going to go wrong, and that makes it better. Because if you go to a panel and somebody had completely prepared this entire thing, it becomes a lecture, and to me, or it becomes something that you could have just watched as a TED Talk. It's something that you could just watch a recording of. When things go wrong, when things aren't right, I mean, there's a certain level of things going wrong that that can be a problem, but as long as you are mostly prepared, when things go wrong, it just makes it feel more real. When somebody is going through a PowerPoint, the PowerPoint crashes, or like Dex during one of way back for 2015 for the PMV contest. They were playing the video "Don't Stop" for the collaboratory, and during the video, his laptop kept freezing, and so it'd be like "Don't stop." Up, and he kept doing that the whole time, and he was getting super annoyed and angry, but we thought it was hilarious because everyone was stopping during "Don't Stop," but it was because I can watch the video online anytime, but this made it a unique experience. And even like during some of the other later parts, the video freezes and it comes up with the screen saying your updates have downloaded, would you like to restart? And that ended up being the reason that it was freezing. It was because things messed up that I remember that panel. So, no, when things go wrong, it's about keeping your cool, just going with the flow, and for the most part will make things more memorable and interesting. So because of that, I prepare content to bring, but I don't really think about how I'm going to go about doing it until I'm actually sitting there. Because if I do things off the cuff, I'm going to probably make more mistakes. And if I make the mistakes with people that can go with the flow, it makes it so much better. So
when you were talking about Dex, I thought maybe you were talking about the one time he went up on the stage with the actual voice actors.
Well, no, that to me,
and tripped.
But to me, that could be embarrassing. I mean, it was funny, but I can see that being embarrassing. Yeah. With the panels, it's more if there's video issues, or somebody says something wrong, or somebody asks a question that you can't answer. It's how you handle that is usually better than if everything went according to plan.
I remember the one time my sister and I were on stage that year, and she threw a pie at the audience. That probably wasn't the best way to handle it. With her, she got nervous is what she told me. She threw a pie at the audience.
But people remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. She doesn't like remembering it at all.
It was actually after the first ever free I was at. I was on a panel with me, Jay Holler, Adam the Amazing, Pika Petey, and Jake Wyman. And it was like a video editor panel. And we had, I didn't own the panel, so I didn't do any prep work for it, other than they said just bring some videos. Well, then I figured out that there was no prep work done for any of it. All it was we just kind of winged it the entire time. And previous to that, I had went into all these panels with like an itinerary of everything to do along the way. And that panel was one of the best panels I've ever been a part of. It was hilariously fun. It was essentially what kind of during the stream here of like some of the stupid stuff. That's essentially all we did there. We'd open up people's videos, but I had control and I would just like fuck with it while we were going. Or like during BabsCon one time, we had like 12 minutes and people wanted to watch Doors. But Doors was like 15 to 18 minutes long. So every time at a certain point, I would just speed up the video, and it got to a point of the whole thing was going at like double speed, and it made it hilarious. And so people got to see it and experience it in a different way. And so that was great. So it's just sometimes that impromptu stuff is the best parts of the panels. Yeah, I love running panels. I don't like the prep work that goes into it. Like Bad Fanfic is hours and hours of work. Super Fight was hours and hours of pre-prep work, but now I don't need to do any of the prep work, which is pretty nice. It's just bring the game and the equipment. But SFM Ponies I still have to prepare some video stuff. Yasha's been good about creating some of like the preview videos for other animators, so I don't have to do that anymore. But it's like I wish I could have all the fun parts, but not have to do anything to get there.
The equestrian.
That's what being in the
equestrian
counts.
That's
what being in the audience is. Just enjoying the fun part.
Somebody has to do it.
I suppose.
Like, because I want to stop applying as community guest or stuff, but if I do, I don't get on the priority list for panels. So now I'm at this like.
This will be my preparation. Welcome to the I'm Gonna Boot This Question panel. Please bring all of your questions to the front. I will boot them for the next 30
The
minutes,
Equestrian
and
Council.
then you can go back about your business.
Equestrian Council.
I feel like the prep work for that panel would be minimal at best. What do you think? Sound like a good panel?
Sure. We did apply, or Kyle applied during the Minnesota panel, or at the Minnesota convention for the hot dish panel. But he didn't get it. That would have been awesome.
The Equestrian Council.
We don't know.
Alright.
No, we didn't have anything planned. We were gonna figure it out if we got it.
This might be why.
No, he put in some of the info for it.
Equestrian Council.
To me, that was one of those panels. Some panels are, you go in there with half prepared, half not, and then just figure it out from the rest. One of the only panel I've been in that was over prepared but worked was animation. Is like an animation perspectives, or just an animation panel that Viva was running. It was Viva, Animated James, and Brainstorm Alex, I believe, and myself. It was the four of us. And Viva was freaking out about this panel. He had a full script written up about all the sections to go over, and he had it all printed out for us. But he had scripted jokes about things that he would say, and we would react in certain ways, and they actually went really well. Where it was like it felt unrehearsed but rehearsed then, and it actually was super fun. So that was a lot of fun. But in terms of what would be my favorite Animated James video, I actually don't know, because I don't remember any of his specific ones. Because a lot of the stuff from early in the fandom, I just don't remember too much. I just knew that he was a big name animator, and at that time, and that was about it.
I like that ponies are shirtless video.
If you ask me, ponies are shirtless stuck with me. Or whatever. The dancing on the beach.
No, well, welcome headphone. No, don't feel like disencouraged. Like I have on the on this software like a lot of hours. So a lot of the things I'm doing are because I've just been spending enough time in it. So it looks really, really complicated, but it's because I've spent all the time doing the easier stuff and working my way up to where now this feels simple, time consuming, but still simple. But I miss the days when I could make things quicker. When a lot of the extra details and a lot of the things that are in the background and all these things that I'm trying to make things like bigger than I need them to be, I miss back when I was starting out, when I was learning, when it was simpler, and I was able to throw out little things, small things that maybe weren't even that good. But I love that, and I miss that time.
Just need to get back into that headspace.
So you want to be at the top of the hill, and you want to make the greatest things, but don't look at something like I'm making and be discouraged, because once you get up there, it's boring.
I mean,
the growing part is the best part, and enjoy it. It might not be exactly what you're looking to make. One of the original videos I had planned was a Scootaloo video that I originally learned the software for, and it took me a year before I learned enough to be able to make it. But then by the time I got to that point, I felt like I could do more, or I could do something different, because that idea no longer interested me. So,
what was the Scootaloo video?
There's a song by it wasn't Aviators. It wasn't Mike to Mike. Who was it that did that? It's gonna bug me. It's like I'll Fly. It's one of those. It's like a Scootaloo song from early in the fandom, and I had a full video planned, everything for the whole video, like almost shot for shot what I wanted to do. But a lot of the different aspects of it I didn't know how to do. So I was working towards doing that, but by the time I got to the point where I felt comfortable, I didn't care about doing it anymore. I had other ideas I'd rather do. So
what is your motivation to doing that shipping video you were talking about a month
You know, the one with Starlight and Somber.
That wasn't a month ago. That was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a shipping video. You made it a shipping video.
No, it wasn't a shipping video. You just didn't want to call it a shipping video.
No, it was, and the only reason it was those two is because I wanted to do something with Sombra as a villain, and the voice actress or the singer from that song sounded just like Starlight.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's awkward, but do I? But I don't know. No, it's not going to happen. Motivation is lacking severely lately.
You need to have like a rainbow
Quarantine's
dash
killing me.
sitting here, just like filling you with
I have a
joy.
rainbow dash right there.
This is not plush. Can't hug it.
You got a horse butt.
It does have a horse butt. There's some
I have
butts
a
up
couple
there.
of these little pixelated ponies. I picked these up a while ago, and I love these things. And they stand on their cutie mark. And I got a Twilight as well. But I love pixelated, like old Super Nintendo. I'm a huge fan of the like old JRPGs. So when I saw those, I had to pick them up because that's what it reminded me of.
The equestrian.
Yeah, I have an original copy of Final Fantasy 1 up in my room. I wonder if that's worth it.
I've been trying to see if I can find new pixelated RPGs, but the only big company that's done it is Square. That when they did Octopath, but
I never finished that one.
I played Final Fantasy V like a couple years ago. I never got to finish it though. I kind of wanted to go back to play Final Fantasy IV. I actually reinstalled Final Fantasy VIII though. That's the one I want to go through again right now.
There was one that recently came out. I say recently, within the last 5 years. It was called Something of Cthulhu. That was actually really good, like The Rise of Cthulhu or something. Maybe somebody else heard of it. Apparently, it was
Cthulhu Saves Christmas.
I wouldn't call it that.
No, that is one.
Is that one?
It's
something Cthulhu. It was on the Steam store.
No, it's
is it Call of Cthulhu?
No, not the one you're thinking of. It's probably gonna make the audio cut. No, I know what you're talking about though, but it's an RPG where you basically play as Cthulhu as the good guy. But
I heard it's actually good.
They had an add-on that was Cthulhu Saves Christmas.
Oh, did they? I played it for like 10 minutes and then I backed off, but I heard it's good.
And headphone, it's when I started out. Like if you want, I can show you my very first video I made in SFM ever.
Yay. I like these. You know, the first thing I ever sold that you made was that image of Rainbow Dash flying after school.
Oh, here. So this is the very first video I made.
That's not funny.
I picked this because I didn't want to deal with the bones on a model. I wanted to keep it simple. This didn't have a bone. It was a single model. It took me like an entire Saturday to throw this together. Now I could do this in probably 4 to 5 minutes. So, but figuring out how to make the camera move through here, how to lock the camera, how to animate it, but it kept slowing down because I just was confused what I was doing. But I kept it simple. All the lighting is the base lighting, and this is just volumetric lights coming out the back, and even that took forever to figure out. But once I made that, I started to just finding single things that I wanted to improve on, and so saying I wanted to get better at the lighting or I wanted to get better at the posing. To me, posing and lighting are going to be your biggest things. Scene build, I would say, is another one after that. But to me, the lighting and the posing are going to affect each other, so they're important. But find things that are out there, especially pictures, and try to recreate them. One of the very first things I ever made in terms of animation, this was one of them. These are actually before Naka had models, and so like they're really poor. Scootaloo couldn't make her short enough, so I just jammed her legs into the ground. Like if you look at the legs here, they're crushed.
I remember that one.
But this has this one I made. I put it a couple loops, and then I have it where like she jumps at Rainbow, and it's super cheap and poor. And I put that online. It's got like over 1 million views, and it's made me a lot of money.
Yeah, how cute that is! If you just did more cute stuff.
But no.
I try to encourage kisses.
Where is?
I think the first thing I ever saw that you made was the
Here we go.
rainbow falling after.
Yeah.
you.
So this is
That was the
this
first
is
thing I
a
ever saw.
this is a recreation of a picture from Knife H, I think. And this is back when wings didn't have individual bones, so it's just one bone on the wing. Hair didn't have bones, and so I didn't have to. I didn't have to think about posing. I didn't have to think about what do I want to make. I didn't think about just getting into an engine and saying how do I learn. I just said this is what I'm trying to make, and I want to make everything as exactly as I can to it. So the animation I added in separate, but otherwise it was just me grabbing things and going off a base and saying how do I get this to here. It helps a lot for figuring out how to do some of the model work, like these arms, like how those work in this position. It doesn't work. The newer models work better, but now because of this, I've gotten better at figuring out how to position things. It's the same thing with this is more detailed, but the rainbow bouncing on the chair. I didn't know how I was going to do some of the positionings, but because I had the show's base to work from and like how they did some of their positioning, I just said, how can I make SFM do that? And it took a lot of breaking bones, but it worked.
That's cute.
She's very happy.
You seem to do cute stuff with Rainbow. Like, if you ever do anything that's actually like cute, it's all you with Rainbow. Make more Rainbow videos.
Rainbow's nice because all of her hair, the hair for her head and her tail are detailed enough that I can make anything work with that. Well, like Rarity is difficult and annoying because it's swirled. Fluttershy is just stupid. Not as a pony, but it's because it's a dual layered jigglebone, and those don't work well. It gets all funky. Twilight's boxed hair, so that makes it really hard if you want to make a wind effect because it's like a flopping piece of paper.
He does.
And Pinky is just difficult to animate because she's overly bubbly. So, and Applejack is the only other one that I'm kind of okay with because
she's your second favorite, isn't she?
No, she's third.
What?
But Applejack at least works because some of her hair is tied down, so you can have more control of the movement. But Rainbow to me is just the easiest to animate from top to bottom all around.
I just noticed if you ever do make cute videos, she's the focus.
This is a test. I don't know why that's in my main folder.
The derpy ones are cute too. You should make more derpies.
Yeah, that's the actual finished version. But,
yeah.
But I didn't know how the bouncing was going to work with motion blur, and that's why I did this to see if it was fine, and it was. So.
It's so cute.
What do we recommend for tutorials? The 3 areas I normally recommend for tutorials are the base SFM tutorials. So just look up Source Filmmaker. They go through a bunch of stuff. A lot of the information is probably nothing you're going to care about if it's Pony. It's going to teach you about like the record button. And the record button is if you're using TF2 characters because you can like actually move them or enable some of the physics to run. But if you're not going to care about that. But it's a button there. And if I wouldn't have watched that, I wouldn't have known what it does. So it's a good idea to watch those because they'll kind of give you an overall encompassing information regarding the software. But the most important one that they cover is the 3 areas I normally recommend for tutorials are the base SFM tutorials. So just look up Source Filmmaker. They go through a bunch of stuff. A lot of the information is probably nothing you're going to care about if it's Pony. It's going to teach you about like the record button. And if you're not going to care about that, but if you is this one. This is the 13.1, 13.2, and 13.3. Those are to me the most important ones to watch for animation, because they teach you about pose to pose. And what pose to pose is it's about doing the animation by creating various poses, basically like you would do for a picture. You're just creating a still frame of the person or the pony at that instance, and then doing another pose or keyframe in a way of the next bit that you want to do, and doing this over and over and over again, so you basically get like a stop motion version of the animation. The purpose that this is useful is it allows you to have full control of what the person looks like at that exact moment. So blah blah blah. I have oh, I know where they are. They're under. They're not in there.
You need help?
No, I just don't know where they are unless I'm on my. This is my convention flash drive, so. So I have a bit here that actually shows how pose works for me, and it is super useful information. And this is why I normally recommend that people start animating by making pictures, because if you can make a picture, you can make an animation, because all it is just making lots of pictures. I just had to figure out where I put those. I thought it was under 3D Animating 101 or 3D Process, but apparently not. Unless I clean this out at some point. Plus, I gotta transfer this over. Well, I had started a video with a Lady Gaga song a while ago.
You've started a lot of videos that have not
been
finished.
Okay, I did copy it over. I had worked on it at a convention because some people just wanted me to see me working on stuff. So I just did. No, maybe I don't have it. 2-3 panel. Oh, this kind of showed anyway though. So this is how I would do. So this is some of the content I bring to the panel. So just in case people want to know. So this is the final video here. But so I'm doing posing. So this is what I really wouldn't call pose to pose. It's more of just storyboarding for that. Yeah. So maybe that one is not a good idea. This one I believe is.
We get to watch Slidey Pip.
So you can see here, like the lighting's not near the final and whatever. But it's about getting the posing right. And I think this part, no, this isn't even that well posed. This is just my storyboarding. I wish I had my other thing. I just don't remember where I put it. I have a full breakdown of how it works. And I don't remember where the save file is for it. Oh, that's gonna bug me. I always lose it. But I remember I used to keep it for this panel. Ah, okay, well this actually kind of shows a little bit. So posing was, I'm just going through and getting the important poses. So as she's going around here, the exact position that she's in here is in this motion somewhere in the final, because I wanted to make sure that at that exact moment she looks like and thank you. I wanted to make sure that she 100% looked like that at that point. there might be extra animation put in between two of these poses later, but I need you to make sure that at that exact moment she looks just like that, and that's the purpose of pose to pose. So like there, it's listed as doing like a thriller.
She's a vampire.
And this was a full spin shot, so it just looks awkward from this angle sitting there.
Is she a bat pony?
This is also, you can see I had to remold this whole outfit to fit to her the entire way through, and you just see it shifting and moving. I hated that.
I remember. It looked hard.
Oh. Nope, that's... I called this a pose-to-pose example because even though this is what the final video was, that is essentially pose-to-pose. Where I would just animate it afterwards. So it's about having her go from this position, making sure that she looks curious, then the lifting of the book, then back. That's essentially what pose-to-pose would end up being. I can't remember why I chose to keep it like that. I think it was because the audio just went with it. But yeah, I really wish I had a good example. I feel like I'm just gonna run into it. That's why I keep opening up things.
I saw a bunch right there with the word derpy on them. Maybe it's in one of those.
No, it's not.
How do you keep getting through my clever plan?
I don't know how I keep losing them. That's, I think, what bugs me the most. No. Whatever. Really, you can start animating whenever you feel comfortable. I mean, there's no, like, recorded limit. I didn't make any art pictures before I started. It just took me longer to figure stuff out. But if you can figure out how to pose, all it is about moving them to that moment, then going to the next moment, and then blending the two together or merging them so that they move from the one pose to another.
Or you can just figure out Gmod and take them out and go. It's also good.
No. Because that example is like perfect. That's why that's bugging me so much. But I know that I always lose it, and then I go and open up something, and then I'm like, oh, that's where that was.
You'll find it as soon as the stream's over.
But I always had it at the panels. That's why it's.
Apple Boom laugh. What's Apple Boom laugh?
You don't. No. Oh. Oh yeah, I remember what this was, because we were watching the show in slow speeds, and so it sounds goofy.
This is cute.
She just goes, and so I had just put that on a loop.
That's cute.
But I just have some test stuff in here. So like when I was testing the differences between the mains. So this is what it would have looked like if I would have kept white main in that video with Celestia's original main. But it just, no matter what you do, it just looks like Celestia. So when I put on the new main, the difference was quite drastic.
I did think that was pretty good. We're seeing in how it turned out.
Yeah, there's just some work in progress bits. So like I needed to see how it looked in render, if it was matching what I was wanting. Like this is some of the. Oh, that's Chrysalis speech.
That's a good video.
Else.
Just the lighting in that one's awesome.
I love this shot right here because having her mouth. I had to set the teeth to self glow so that you could see them. Mm-hmm. But I just love that transition.
I think that was a good example of lighting done really well. Was that this video was?
And this is also talking about tilting. That's why I had the camera tilted here too, and I'm talking about that earlier. But this one took me a while too because all that hair had to be animated manually. Like getting it, animating it by her nose. Like so when her head turns, it has to actually go with gravity around her nose. And then when she, this is the test. So actually, now it's not animated because I stopped, or I hadn't done it yet. She's just,
What is that?
she's not
It's not
animated
out.
yet.
No? That's awesome. This is an earlier version.
Yeah, because this is all the work in progress stuff. So yeah, she's.
Oh, yeah. She's just, I can't hear what she's saying, so she's just kind of like.
She's not animated either. I didn't even finish lip syncing. That's just some default stuff.
No, this is where the kiss.
Is this an updated one? Oh, I was just testing the lip syncing on her. I think I did this just to see if I could make her mouth work, and then I made the video because it ended up working.
Oh, yes. If you practice, you can get this good too. You were on that trip for a while. It was short-lived, but
It was for like 2 weeks.
it felt forever.
It was a very long week. That came about because my phone kept telling me while I was at work, asking if I was at Wendy's. And when I posted a picture about it, it had Daybreaker in the background with like a stupid laugh saying at Wendy's. And so for the full week, because it kept telling me, asking me if I was at Wendy's, I just kept changing the picture in the background and made a whole joke of the week for it. What is this one? Pip Wind? Oh, yeah, that. I've reused that one a bunch too. And like a bunch of these aren't even my videos. They're people who sent me stuff and I touched something up or rendered it for them because they had difficulty rendering, and then I sent it back to them. But now that bugs me. I can't.
It's an anticipation example. It's not, is it?
It's about anticipation being you aren't just going right to emotion, that you're doing something drastic before the motion to imply the following. So I like this example because of this. She's going to go and throw her hoof up, but she doesn't just go and lift her hoof up. She actually bends this down first and then throws it up. So that was anticipating the action. I had put together a might even be able to find it in this because I think this has all the videos. I used to do a panel on Animating 101 where I actually went over animating and everything, and I made this thing years ago and I had 8,000 hours, just to show you how much I've done in the last couple of years compared to the years before that. But going over like squash and stretch, so I threw together this quick to show how that, maintaining a volume. So while she went and took a big breath of air, you had to shrink down the rest of her to maintain the volume. Yeah, this is anticipation about preparing the audience for an action, staging, about how the present of any idea so that it is completely unmistakably clear. In this case, about making it so that when you look at the shot, people are looking at what you are telling them to look at without being explicit. And here, using the lighting on Rainbow Dash in such a way with the environment that she stands out and she is immediately drawing your attention. The same thing here, where the attention goes from focusing on her to within the same shot, using the decrease in the lighting. And now this is where you're looking and controlling where people's attention are. Well, trust me, I have like hundreds of hours in Gmod too.
No, I like that one animation so much, the one that Rainbow skits.
Here we go. So this is not the full version I was looking. Oh no, this is the same one. No, it is not.
You already showed that one. Is the one with the two rainbows up there?
No,
I don't want derpies.
No, I don't have it. Oh, this is talking about, I like this because I took this shot and I removed all the secondary background animation just to show the difference. So in this one, the clouds aren't moving, the trees aren't moving, the grass isn't moving, it's just the leaves. But in this one, I added in the clouds, the trees, everything. And it's amazing how much, and the hair stopped moving too, how the animation in this took me 5 minutes, but just the background and all the details took me hours and hours and hours and hours. So, but adding more, those little minor details to me are super powerful, but at the cost of taking ever. And I have brought this up before, but don't render. This is actually made back when YouTube just added 60 FPS. Don't make things in 60 FPS. Don't make animations in 60 FPS. The end product is smoother, but the more frames you have in something, the easier it is to fall in uncanny valley. If you have, the lower your frame rate is, and it's not to say that like you lower the frame rate or to do that for that purpose. 24 FPS is the industry standard for most movies, so our brains are already pre-wired to think of that frame rate as something that is cinematic. Same thing with adding black bars to things. It just, our brains interpret that as movie. But the lower frame rate helps hide some of those animation, not errors, but like if you didn't put a ton of effort into it, it can help make it feel like there is. The more you put into it, or the higher the frame rate, it starts getting to a point of feeling too awkward and too weird, less impactful. The low frame rate makes impact things a lot better. This chemistry video, and it's not going to pop up because it's not in the 60 frames, but it's done in. I originally rendered it in 60 FPS, and I hated how the action looked. It didn't have the impact feel, so I actually removed every other frame and made the final in 30 FPS because it just felt better. So yeah. It's not as much of a thing now because when 60 FPS was a big fancy new YouTube thing, it was everybody was using it and thought it was a superior thing. But most people don't even know what the hell the frame rate is. Remembrance was done in 24 FPS, and I had a couple of comments in there asking if it was 60 FPS. No, it's not.
And I can tell the difference.
But people think that the detail of an animation is the same as the frame rate, but it's not. That video was 24 FPS, so it was less than half. So I know that bugged me.
I sometimes wonder how much of that is that it's uncanny, or that we're just not used to it because we've seen it one way our entire lives.
I also had this of have fun.
By making rainbow pillars.
You saw that one already. So FPS is just how many frames are put in per second. So 30 FPS means there's already 30 frames in a second, and 60 FPS means that there's 60, so it's double. The higher the frame rate, it feels smoother because there's a lot more frames going on for you to pick up. Your eyes can pick up, it's a huge range, but it's anywhere from like 90 to like 150 normally. So the difference between 30 and 60 is quite noticeable, or even from 24, but it starts putting it more towards realistic or like real life type frame rate, where our eyes don't really pick up frames. It's not the same thing, but it starts making it smoother to where your brain is looking for more things, more details. Anime is like 12, and that's why they can get away with a lot of bits being kept on the screen and unmoving for a longer time, or very simple animation, because it's just made at a lower frame rate. But that also makes it so that action is super impact feeling, because they can do these everything just feels like there's, I think, sitting in some of those impacts longer. I'm not trying to explain it, but to me, anime is more feels and works better for that because of the lower frame rate. I can't really show examples of frame rate on here because it's a stream. It's just going to put through probably in 30 FPS anyway.
So how much do you think is actually uncanny, and how much do you think it is just it's not what you're used to seeing?
For 60 FPS?
Yeah. Like, I think it looks weird, but I partly think it looks weird because that's not what I'm used to seeing my whole life.
Well, to me, 60 FPS can work perfectly fine if you put a ton of detail into the animation. Mm-hmm. It's just you have to make sure that you're staying out of that uncanny valley. But uncanny valley just gets wider the higher the frame rate, and it's not. It push because normally you can get you can do some like minimal animation and go off of the the parody or the spoof type thing where you're purposefully not going and being realistic. You're being under realistic. But if you're doing that with 60 FPS, then it just seems like you're trying to do two different. It's weird. Usually the 60 FPS works if you put ultra realism into something.
I don't think it looks weird in video games, and
but usually those are a ton of detail in the animation.
It can be.
So if the game puts a lot of detail in the animation, then it's fine. Like I said, it widens it. It doesn't mean that you can't stay out of it. It just makes it a lot harder to. And when you're starting out, it just is going to make things look worse than staying at 24. Yeah, I agree. I actually, like, right now I'm in the void. Like, I almost work exclusively there because I hate working with pre-done lighting. So everything I do is with within the void. Plus, I like doing things in the void because I can make it. I can build it to be exactly what I need it to be without it being anything more than that. I only need to work on what is visible. The one thing with frame rate, because I'm already over time here, I did want to cover is if you are going to be playing around with frame rate, the one thing you have to watch out for is motion blur. So there is a certain amount. If you do a lower frame rate, the engine will try to blur motion to help connect the different frames. And if you have a very high frame rate, it doesn't need to do much because there's so many frames in between that there's not much blur that needs to be done to connect them. But the lower your frame rate gets, the more it has to do. And if you don't have the blur, if you just shut off motion blur, it will look choppy because you're going to have things like jumping and skipping across the screen at different parts for faster action. For slower moving stuff, it actually can look better without it on. But because of that, SFM does simulate shutter speed, and you have to make sure that whatever frame rate you're using, the shutter speed matches, so that you're not using the shutter speed of 24 FPS on a 60, because you're going to get almost sloshy animation, or vice versa. Using the 60s at 24, you're going to get it having those gaps. So if you actually right click the camera and go in here, there will be a shutter speed that you can modify, and this is an industry standard for saying how long it's keeping the shutter open, or at least it's simulating how long it's keeping the shutter open. This number is going to be equal to 1 divided by double the frame rate. So this is I believe a 24 FPS video I'm working on, so it would be 1 divided by 48. So instead of 24 frames, it's 1 divided by 48, and it's going to give me 0.0208. So it matches. Normally in SFM, if you tell it that I'm going to, at the very, very beginning, I'm going to do 24 FPS or 30 or 60, it will figure this out for you. But if you ever change it midway, you got to make sure you change this. If you're going to do 30 FPS, then it'll be 1 divided by 60, and then you're going to get your shutter speed of 0.0166. And then the same thing if you're doing 60 frames, you would do 1 divided by 120, and it gives 0.0083. So that's just important information to remember that the faster, the more frames you have to make the shutters stay open for less and less time, for what SFM simulates for it anyway. But it is after 9, so that is my time. I just want to make sure I'm not. Yeah, it's fine. Got a good amount done though. Got the. Got him done. Twilight got some extra detail here. And I got them doing all their like stompies. They're all dancing for Michael.
Would you like to know?
That's the best part of this whole video is the audience. Fuck you.
Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot.
Wait, they're gonna go so fast. Alright. Well, thank you. I appreciate it too. I appreciate you guys coming by and helping me, motivating me to get some stuff done. But at Headphone, don't think you waste my time on the stream. The purpose of the stream is to actually help out and answer questions. So, like, I'm glad that somebody came by to ask some questions. It's great. But I stream twice a week, so if you ever have a question or need to figure something out, or even want me to do an example of something, let me know, and I can do my best. I mean, I'm not going to be able to do some like 3-hour example, but I'll take the time to try to do what I can.
Everybody's thanking you for the stream. So.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Have the cat.
Meow.
So I can beat up Michael.
Yeah, he's good. As soon as he shuts off the stream, he beats me.
Yeah,
every time.
The experience is tied very closely with repetition. So the more information you get, and the longer or the more you poke at the same things, you start memorizing, you start remembering, and to a point of everything becomes muscle memory. And then when you no longer have to think about what buttons you're pushing and the certain things you're doing, that you can spend that brain power doing other things and learning other aspects. So even doing the same things over and over again, all they do is help build that like secondary knowledge, that unthinking knowledge. So yeah, this whole thing while I was watching the kitty.
Meow, meow.
So yeah, all right.
Running
But
away.
I'll be back next week. Probably gonna make a Rathalos thing next week because I need to get another one of those done. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and healthy.